First in high definition from the station on your side, this is WAVY News 10.
It was equipment failure that led to the death of Officer Timothy Schock.
That's the word this afternoon from the Chesapeake Chief of Police. Officer Schock died December 20th during dive training in Oak Grove Lake Park. 10 on your side's Melanie Woodrow joins us now live with new details in the officer's death. Melanie?
Yeah, Officer Schock's power inflator, this piece of equipment that you see pictured here that should have allowed him to come to the surface of the water, failed. Also, his weight release cord, this piece of equipment that you see pictured here that should have allowed him to drop 40 extra pounds of weight from his waist, also failed. Officer Timothy Schock knew something was wrong before his dive. Chesapeake Chief of Police Colonel Wright says Schock told his teammates a button had fallen off his power inflator. This piece of equipment here that allows him to deflate and submerge in the water, as well as inflate and come to the surface.
They all agreed that it was okay.
Who is they?
Other officers.
Okay, Chief Wright says, because the two other officers with Schock knew there was another manual way for him to deflate and submerge.
I think in their mind, it served one purpose, but in fact it served multiple purposes, which was to not only just deflate, but it also assist in inflation.
Was that a poor judgment call?
I think that's not a good way to characterize it.
Once underwater, Officer Schock was able to resurface once, but had trouble a second time. As his dive partner attempted to help, Schock tried to release 40 extra pounds of weight around his waist, but could not. A second piece of equipment, this weight release cord, was now also failing. Officer Schock's partner helped him to the surface. They were on their backs, kicking to shore. Officer Schock was holding onto his partner's neck. Schock's partner asked him to loosen his grip because he was choking. When Officer Schock loosened his grip, Officer Schock sank to the bottom. Chief Wright says from now on, when equipment malfunctions, it will not be used, even if that piece of equipment can function some other way. Why did it take a death to come to that conclusion?
I think that the persons who are on the dive team, it is their equipment that is issued to them. Again, they maintain it, but we have to rely upon them to let us know, those who make the decisions to purchase equipment and so forth, that the parts that they're using are at the point where they need to be replaced.
And therein lies another problem. We learned today that Officer Schock had the button on this power inflator replaced prior to this dive, but it was not replaced by a technician with the proper expertise. I'll have that part of the story coming up tonight, new at 6. For now, reporting live in Chesapeake, Melanie Woodrow, 10 on your side.
Now, all diving operations are currently suspended. Other changes the police chief has made include replacing all equipment, improving the maintenance, storage, and service program for dive equipment, incorporating a formalized equipment buddy check, having EMS on scene during all high-risk dives, and having a boat with flotation devices ready.
The death of a Smithfield baby is now a homicide. That decision came after the medical examiner ruled Piper Malinsky died after being struck so hard in the head that it caused trauma. Her twin sister Ella remains in stable condition at CHKD in Norfolk. The girl's parents, Leanne Webb and Robert Malinsky, are in jail accused of child abuse. Then on your side's Katie Collette is here to explain what this means for the two now. Katie?
Tom, right now, both Webb and Malinsky are charged with 2 counts each of felony child neglect. But with this new information from the coroner's ruling, investigators tell me this means one or both parents could now face a murder charge. Leanne Webb and Robert Malinsky arraigned today in Isle of Wight County Court. Malinsky requested a public defender for his next hearing. Webb told the judge she plans to hire an attorney. The two accused of abusing their twin 4-month-olds, Ella and Piper. The babies so badly hurt, doctors found skull fractures, broken ribs, and bruises.
Unfortunately, there are people that have children that shouldn't have them, that don't know how to take care of them and really don't care.
News of the deadly abuse spread fast through this normally quiet community.
Oh, I was so shocked. I said, in Smithfield, you know.
10 on your side was there Monday as investigators searched the baby's home, looking for anything used to cause them harm, like the object investigators say was used to burn Piper's feet.
Removed a kerosene heater that is certainly potentially a causal factor, but we're not sure.
Deputies also carried a golf club wrapped in plastic out of the home. Isle of Wight Sheriff Captain Rick Gaddis says it's too soon to tell exactly what caused the head trauma to both children and ultimately led to Piper's death. He says that's something the medical examiner is still working to find. Meanwhile, Isle of Wight residents simply hope for justice.
If they are the guilty parties, and I think the authorities wouldn't have charged them unless they really believe that they were, that they should be prosecuted to the nth degree.
Now it's up to the Commonwealth's attorney to decide if Webb, Malinsky, or both end up facing a homicide charge. The two were not granted bond today. Meanwhile, we looked into Malinsky's background and uncovered quite a criminal history. Join us at 6 to learn what we found. Katie Collette, 10 on your side.
And baby Ella remains in the custody of Child Protective Services. Webb's 4-year-old daughter is staying with family, approved by Isle of Wight Social Services. We've reported for years that our area has a higher number of child abuse deaths than any part of the state. Tonight at 5:30, 10 on your side asked the organization working to prevent child abuse why so many babies are still dying in Hampton Roads.
The owner of Mo Money Taxes says customers in Hampton Roads will get their refunds. After missing multiple deadlines and broken promises, 10 on your side sent Ann McNamara to Memphis, Tennessee, where Mo Money is headquartered, to get answers for local customers. And they were not happy to see her.
How can I reach Marky Granberry?
I have no idea, ma'am.
This is the corporate office and you have no idea. Aren't you his secretary?
Who told you I was a secretary? I could be a customer.
Private property.
Who are you, sir?
The news.
1,700 people don't have their checks. Sir, why are you pushing me? I'm from Norfolk, Virginia. I came all the way.
But after that confrontation, Ann sat down with the CEO. She joins us now. Ann?
Nicole, you may remember it wasn't too long ago Marky Granberry told us the checks will come to Norfolk if he has to hand deliver them himself. Well, he did not come, neither did many of those checks. So today we came to him right here at the corporate headquarters in Memphis, Tennessee. Here's the latest. He told me today some people in Norfolk will find their check in their mailbox. He also told me another batch of checks is going out Friday that should arrive Monday or Tuesday. I asked him why should we believe him. He said, I'm trustworthy. I've been in business for 17 years doing this. I also asked him about those checks you guys have showed us with routing numbers and account numbers that just won't cash. They're invalid checks. He would not comment on that. He just kept repeating this phrase, the name Mo Money Taxes is not on those checks. I said, what does that mean? He said the name Mo Money Taxes is not on those checks. I also asked him, does he care about this? Does he care about the apparent runaround he's been giving people about empty promises and dates and checks not coming? Here's what he said. Do you care about these people?
I love these people. I've been servicing them for 17 years. I love these people. If you look at me, I'm them. You know, I feel the pain of.
But are you them, sir? And I don't mean to be rude, but you're wearing a gold chain. I watched a grown man your size cry in an IRS office because he can't feed his daughter. He goes home, he looks his daughter in the eye, and he just doesn't have the money because you have the money. Are you really like them?
I don't have the money. I don't have the money. If I had the money, that grown man would have his money. But it's a process that it goes through. It's 5 people involved.
Among those 5, he's referencing the bank, he's also referencing a processor and the IRS. He's still saying the IRS delay is having a significant effect on why these checks are late. Now, an interesting thing about the bank, we reported yesterday, there are reports that they have, Mo Money Taxes has separated its connection with Value Bank of Texas, or rather the other way around. Value Bank of Texas has separated its connection with the company. I asked him today about that. Marky Granberry would not comment anything about Value Bank of Texas, although he did say at one point in a phone conversation there is the risk, he said, of the money being sent back. I said, sent back to the IRS? He said yes, but I cannot talk about that. So that's the latest from here. We had a long conversation, about 30 minutes. We'll have much more of that coming up within our 90 minutes of news. For now, I'm Ann McNamara, live in Memphis, Tennessee.
All right, Ann, thank you. Lots of folks certainly are talking about this, especially on our Facebook page. You know, we started investigating Mo Money Taxes after customers called us because they didn't receive tax returns as promised. And the ones who did say they cannot cash them. Shortly after our stories aired, the tax service closed its doors to all of its Hampton Roads locations, and other cities followed suit. The Norfolk Police Department and the IRS are investigating Mo Money taxes.
We're on your side investigating security at the new Portsmouth courthouse. The sheriff's office says it needs more than 24 new deputies, but a city consultant says it does not. You'll hear why, new tonight at 5:30.
Have you noticed the pain at the pump is increasing, and it doesn't look like we'll get a break anytime soon? We'll tell you what's driving soaring gas prices.
And counterfeit concerns. We're on your side with a warning about a phony drug that doctors may have used to treat patients. The maker of the cancer drug Avastin and the Food and Drug Administration are trying to track down counterfeit vials of that same drug. Roche's Genentech, the maker of Avastin, says the phony version does not contain the active ingredient that's in the real drug. Also, the maker's name, it's not printed on the packaging. The drug maker says the counterfeit product is not safe nor effective and should not be used. Pharmacists are warned to take a look at their supplies.
With increasing stress in our lives, more people are getting into yoga. People like me experience the physical and mental benefits, including increased circulation and flexibility with the focus on present moment awareness. But recent media attention on the dangers made us want to investigate what can be done to stay safe while doing yoga. Who is supposed to keep you from pushing too much? And who regulates yoga instructors? You may be surprised.
Technically, there are no laws that require a teacher of yoga to have a certification, whether it be state or within the U.S.
Now, I found out there are organizations that certify yoga instructors. Tonight on WAVY News 10 at 6, I'll tell you how to check on your instructor's qualifications and how to stay safe when you hit the mat.
Might not be long before you can make it through dinner without hearing from telemarketers. New rules to restrict those interruptions.
Gas prices are on the rise, and some analysts say we may be headed for record territory just in time for summer. We're on your side getting answers about how much and why.
You're watching WAVY News 10 at 5 with Tom Shad, Nicole Libus, and Super Doppler 10 Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Drivers in Hampton Roads and across the nation are digging deeper into their pockets to fill up.
And experts say that pain at the pump is only going to get worse in the weeks and months ahead. Summer's still to come. On your side's Art Kahn tells us what's fueling those high gas prices.
Tom and Nicole, experts point to 3 or 4 factors driving up the price of gas. Excuse me. And even though we are feeling the pinch here in Hampton Roads, at least 2 of the contributing factors are a world away. As tensions in the Middle East rise, so does the price of gas in Hampton Roads.
Iran has cut oil exports to 6 European countries,
which means those countries have to get their oil from other markets. Markets that also supply the United States. The result? Higher gas prices here at home.
The national average stands about 40 cents higher than where it was 1 year ago. So gas prices increasing across the board.
It's ridiculous. Raphael Charlie is buying gas in Virginia Beach today, where according to GasBuddy.com, the average price is $3.45 a gallon. Just 1 month ago, gas in that city was as low as $3.27 a gallon. A year ago, $2.98 a gallon.
Usually it takes me $30 to fill up. Now I'm at $38.50 to fill up.
We can afford, such thing.
It's going to get worse. Threats by Iran to close international shipping lanes, big East Coast refineries shutting down, and increased demand for gas in Asia are all pumping up the price.
We are right on a threshold of high gas price volatility, and we'll see it spike sooner rather than later.
They'll go up and the oil company wants their profit.
Across Hampton Roads in the last 24 hours, gas prices on average ranged from as low as $3.35 a gallon to as much as $3.54 a gallon. GasBuddy.com predicts a national average of nearly $4 a gallon by Memorial Day.
In the summertime, we, tend to go out more, but if it gets too high, we'll be staying indoors.
Yeah, well, a lot of people might stay close to home this summer. By the way, we have a link to the lowest gas prices on WAVY.com. Art Kahn, 10 on your side.
And there's one more. Higher gas prices do more than just strain personal finances. Analysts say they could threaten the economy's struggling recovery.
Now, in high definition, your Super Doppler 10 forecast with Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
We're going to see some light rain move on in during the day for tomorrow, and like by this time tomorrow, we'll have pretty steady light rainfall, but it's not going to be too terribly bad, and it's not going to be huge amounts of rainfall either throughout the region. You can see where it's coming from off toward the Mississippi Valley. Good, solid rainfall is out there. Got clear skies right now, and temperatures are all over the place. They're not too bad. A little cooler along the waterfront areas, and definitely warmer farther inland. Cloud cover starts moving in by around midnight tonight. And then here comes the rain. Is it going to be real big rain? No, not likely. It'll likely be under 1/4 of an inch. We'll clear off for Friday. And again, we got some changes coming up in terms of temperature as well for the weekend. Now, right now, again, sunshine throughout the region. We take a closer view at the cloud cover moving in, and not so much. You can see it on off to the west, way on off to the western tip of Virginia and into West Virginia. But for us, lots of sunshine and a beautiful day, and we got a beautiful evening going on. But by midnight or so, the clouds start moving in. We're socked in with clouds at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. A southwest wind at 5 to 10 miles an hour. By the noon hour, there could be a couple of stray showers into the area, but by 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, pretty widespread rain, and that'll continue at 7 o'clock in the evening. Light southerly wind or southeasterly at about 10 miles an hour. And there's where we are by 9 o'clock in the evening. Still some scattered light rainfall. The front has just dropped through Virginia by that point. Winds becoming more westerly and then northwesterly and then finally northerly during the day coming up on Friday. There's where we are by that midnight hour. Still some cloudiness, still some rain across the Outer Banks. This is tomorrow night, and then we move on into Friday morning. We start to clear off. 10 to 15 mile an hour winds, a little breezy in the middle of the day, 15 to 20, and at the end of the day the winds drop off, but skies remain clear. Now, as I mentioned, it's not likely to be a great deal of rainfall, around 1/4 of an inch at best. In fact, all of these are saying well under 1/4 of an inch, around 13 to 15 hundredths of an inch of rainfall. So again, it's not going to be a lot of rain, but we are going to see some rain move on through, mainly around drive time tomorrow afternoon and during the early evening hours. Right now, though, hardly a cloud in the sky, and really the clouds that you're seeing here, few thin clouds, but these are jet contrails on off to the west. Mostly clear skies. Temperatures like this everywhere, around 50 degrees, 49, 51, 52. No, inland areas much warmer. Chesapeake with 57, 59 degrees. Very nice and warm into Suffolk today. And Franklin, as of last report, had 60 degrees. So again, 61 at Williamsburg. So again, very nice and warm into inland areas for right now. And tomorrow, tonight and tomorrow, here's what's going on. Overnight, we'll see that cloud cover start to move on in, and during the day for tomorrow, a good chance of rain, slight chance at noon, but a better chance of rain by the dinner hour tomorrow, around 55. I think for everybody, I think there'll be a big difference in temperature readings tomorrow. 57 Friday, 55 Saturday. Starting to see a pretty decent chance of rain now coming up Sunday, and remaining cool into Monday.
From airports to coffee shops to hotel lobbies, there's free open Wi-Fi practically everywhere, and it could leave your phone open to hackers. We're on your side with how to avoid the security risk.
And new developments in the trial of a former UVA lacrosse player charged with killing his ex-girlfriend. We'll tell you how the prosecution wrapped up its case today. For many of us, ignoring those unknown phone numbers has become an all too familiar tactic for avoiding those telemarketing calls. The FCC unveiled new rules to restrict those robocalls. You may be on the National Do Not Call Registry, exempting you from most of them, but you still get them. Under the new rules, though, you'll be protected. But the new guidelines do not apply to live phone calls made in person. Under those new rules, a company will need your written permission. If you opt out, they cannot legally call your number again. If they do, you will be able to sue in violation of the rules. Well, we take advantage of free Wi-Fi all the time.
The bad news is many of us who use it don't protect our phones as well as we should, and that's an opportunity for hackers. Many airports offer free open Wi-Fi, but a computer science student discovered something that might make us pause before firing up our phones. He found a way to hack into the Southwest app and get the personal data of passengers.
A lot of people don't think of their phones as being computers, but they really are. I mean, they're as powerful as computers were a few years ago. And people store a lot of information on there. They have pictures, they have contact lists, things that are of value to cybercriminals, and they have to protect them.
We're on your side with the best ways to protect your mobile device. Security experts say make sure your phone isn't set to automatically log on to wireless hotspots. Turn off your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth when you're not using them. And update your smartphone or tablet's operating system as often as you can.
Chia Pets are the gag gift we've come to love. Many of us, I should say.
Chia.
Now the funny product is apparently a good food. We'll tell you why Chias are the new hit in the health food industry.
Hundreds of inmates are dead after flames roared through a crowded prison. Hear what started the fire tonight at 5:30.
One, two, three, mic check, 1, 2, 3.
Please.
That's something like you would expect, perhaps.
Okay, hang on.
Pronouncer.
Via Grossa.
Hang on, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Check, check, check.
Nutrition experts say give the chia a try. Believe it or not, ingredients in the Chia Pet, they're actually good for you. The tiny little seeds are a new hit in the health food industry. The same seeds from the famous mossy green plants are sold at nutrition centers and grocery stores and at Walgreens.
It has a lot of protein in it. Also the omega-3 content, so healthy fats and oils are going to be consumed with that as well. Add it into yogurt, you can add it into soups, you can add it into pudding.
Chia seeds are high in fiber and protein. Some say they'll keep you feeling fuller longer. Stay with us. WAVY News 10 at 5:30 starts right now.